Ooh, Denny Hamlin and Jeff Gordon are fighting over how NASCAR can showcase its drivers, what's controversial and what's not, and how to overall express themselves. And yeah, shots have been fired from both sides of the aisle, with Denny Hamlin taking some pretty sharp, poignant, and accurate shots at Jeff Gordon, Hendrick Motorsports, and their sponsors. And he brings up a great point. What the hell is Raptor anyway? Does anybody know? We're going to talk about all the drama and how NASCAR can market their drivers, their sport, and grow the sport today on Shifting Gears. I'm Alan Bailey, and before more shots get fired and this drama keeps growing, make sure that you mash that subscribe button so that you keep up on the latest videos and log on to AmericanRacingNetwork.com for the latest motorsports news. ARN, the Motorsports Authority. So if you're unaware of everything that's been happening this season, Denny Hamlin has been a lot more vocal on his opinions and his thoughts about NASCAR, the industry as a whole, and now that he's a team owner, he feels that he has a little bit bigger of a voice, which arguably he does. Couple that with the fact that he started a podcast with Dirty Mo Media called Actions Detrimental this season, Denny Hamlin has been more opinionated this year than ever before. And honestly, I feel like that's a really good thing. You can check out his podcast wherever podcasts are available. And honestly, things got a little heated on Actions Detrimental this week. But in order to understand the context of what happened on the podcast this week, we have to go back almost a week ago to when Jeff Gordon appeared on Sirius XM Satellite Radio and had these comments to say about what Denny Hamlin has been doing all season long.
What I do agree with is that Denny is trying to do things to stir up conversation, to get people at least having an opinion, right? Whether it's a positive or a negative one, you have an opinion. And the fact that he's embracing that, I will give him kudos all day long. Go for it. I wouldn't want that to be one of our drivers.
Why not?
Because it's just, it's too controversial. To me, it's a distraction. I feel like I want our drivers to go and build a fan base by winning races and by being themselves but not doing things. I think Denny's being himself to a certain degree, but I think he's also kind of, it's like an alter ego as well. And again, I want other guys in the sport to do stuff like that. But if they come to Hendrick Motorsports, and you can call us stiff, you can call us whatever you want, but, we're running a business, and the business is to, win races first, take care of your sponsors, do everything, and let the sponsors market you. Let the sport figure out how to market you. Build your brand through who you are on social media and be the best you that you can be. But if you really want to go to the racetrack focused on winning races, it's hard to do that when you have a lot of distractions. And if Denny thrives on that, great. But I just don't think that it's healthy within the organization when you have 4 drivers and you're going in meetings together and you're talking about how you go to the next race to win when you're having to deal with some of those things. That's just my opinion.
So there's a lot to unpack there from the 4-time NASCAR champ. First off, I do think that it is a little bit of a distraction for Denny Hamlin to be so vocal, but at the same time, honestly, Jeff Gordon thinks that sponsors need to market the drivers? What the hell? Like seriously, somebody explain that thought process to me, because I could not disagree more with Jeff Gordon on this subject. Seriously, because it's not the sponsor's job to figure out who your driver is and how to sell your driver's personality. It's your sponsor's job to literally write a check, get their logo on the car, and they have expectations of the driver. They have expectations that that driver will perform on the racetrack and that they, the driver, will sell that product off the racetrack and on the racetrack. They're not in the marketing business. Raptor is not a marketing company, I think. Seriously, bigger point. what the hell is Raptor? I had to Google it, and the fact that there was a lot of confusion, even from Denny Hamlin, about the fact that Raptor, which is a sponsor that has been on the 24 car for a handful of races this season and for the last few years, is a paint company that also specializes in paint on truck bed liners, is mind-boggling to me. Sincerely, I had no idea Raptor was a paint company. I assumed they were an offshoot of DuPont or whatever DuPont's company is called nowadays, but the fact that a reporter, myself, who follows this sport with a magnifying glass and pays attention to every single little minute detail, had no idea what the hell Raptor was, is a sincere problem. And yeah, I do agree with Jeff Gordon. Hendrick Motorsports are stiffs. Those drivers have absolutely no personality that they've showcased to the world. Who's Chase Elliott as a person? Other than the fact that the entire world found out that he snowboarded this year after he broke his leg getting into the Las Vegas race, you seriously have no idea what that guy's personality is, because unlike what Jeff Gordon is saying, Chase Elliott doesn't go on social media. That's a problem. And the fact that Hendrick Motorsports literally hasn't come up with a personality for Chase also happens to be a problem. But Denny Hamlin, after the race that we saw at the Roval over the weekend, sat down on his Actions Detrimental podcast, and frankly, he was asked about these comments, and this was his reaction.
Well, that sounds like a guy I don't want to go to war with. He's like, hey, I'll go to war, but you get up front.
Right.
I mean, Jeff Gordon said that? I mean, that is how to stunt NASCAR growth 101 is say, that's too controversial for us. Call us stiff. But, I'm wondering how has his sponsors marketed his drivers? Because I think his drivers have great personality. Anybody know? No? I haven't seen much either. So he wants me to sit back. He's not. He's saying he likes it, just not. He thinks it's a distraction if it was on his team.
Right.
Well, thank God I don't drive for him.
Clearly, it's not a distraction.
What
in
is
your
a distraction? That I'm getting booed?
All of it. You stirring the pot, things like that.
I go
This
in Monday
show?
and I'm a professional, because that's what professionals do. They go into a meeting and they act professional. I think he's been to one too many Burning Mans. He's going against the logic that he said 12 months ago, that he wants his drivers doing more things, and he's basically saying, I want them to be tidy, not controversial.
Win races.
Yeah. I couldn't disagree more. I'm glad I run my team the way I run my team, because I will never run my team saying things like that. That's his opinion. He's allowed to have that opinion, but certainly think that is the absolute wrong way to go if you want star power in the sport. It drives me crazy. No one else has got the balls to be honest. And it's not the driver's fault, because they've clearly got white collar standing over the back of them, making sure that they don't do it. Like, that's not good. That is stunting growth. That is stunting star power. And I believe we have stars in our sport, but they will never get seen because you've got that mentality looking over their shoulders.
I agree with Denny Hamlin. You can go listen to the entire Actions Detrimental podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, courtesy of our friends over at Dirty Mo Media. It's honestly a really good podcast. I'm not the biggest Denny Hamlin fan, frankly, if I'm being 100% blunt. I think he's a rich guy who's, frankly, got that arrogancy about him, but that's a good thing, honestly. If we're honestly talking about which lunch table we're going to sit at in the NASCAR high school, I'm not sitting at Denny Hamlin's table. Honestly, Denny is good for the sport. NASCAR needs a villain, and Denny Hamlin is filling that role. And I think he needs to lean even harder into it and be the bad guy. I think it would do wonders for the sport. But I 110% agree with him. He's right. What's a distraction? What has Denny Hamlin done that has been a distraction in the last few weeks? Seriously. Like, he's leaning into the fact that when fans flip him off after he wins a race, "Oh, thank you for giving me the number 11. Yeah, that's my number." That's distracting? Even the last time he won, when he got out and everybody was booing him and he made that wisecrack, "I beat your favorite driver," all of them, that was great. That was great trash talking. I want more of that in the sport. I also love the fact that Denny Hamlin took a shot at Jeff Gordon right there, saying that he's been to one too many Burning Mans, because I do think that Jeff Gordon is corporate now. He's that business guy who is kind of a robot, and his personality has kind of gone to hell in a handbasket. And he's doing that to all of his drivers. That's what Hendrick Motorsports has done since Tim Richmond. And frankly, that's not good for the sport. Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt Sr. had a really intense battle and rivalry on the racetrack that did wonders for NASCAR's ratings and popularity in the 90s. We need more of that. I want to see more of these guys getting pissed off and saying what they mean. That's why Radioactive is so damn popular. That's why this Netflix show is going to do wonders for NASCAR when it comes out next year. Honestly, you look at F1, it wasn't the fact that people didn't have an in on F1, it was the fact that F1, when Drive to Survive happened on Netflix, it showed drivers behind the helmet. It showed the inner struggles, the personality, and it made these drivers human. That's what NASCAR needs to do. NASCAR needs to let these drivers like whatever social media post, as long as it's appropriate. Another big problem is the fact that these NASCAR drivers, at least most in the Cup Series, simply refuse to do media. They refuse to do interviews. I'm heading to Vegas this weekend, and at the end of the race, whatever the top 5 are, collectively, each one of those drivers is going to give anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes to every media member. Not everybody's going to get 5 to 10 minutes each. I mean, they're going to be standing there for 5 or 10 minutes answering 20 reporters' questions all at the same time, and that's it. You look at F1, they give them hours after the race in order to answer multiple one-on-one interviews with as many media members out there. The F1 drivers even walk around to everybody and go, "Hey, you got what you needed? Do you need more? Do you need anything from me?" They are friendly. They are approachable. They are willing to stay later and promote themselves, their sponsors, their team, and the sport. NASCAR drivers don't want to do that. It's sincerely like pulling teeth to get another question out of anyone in the Cup Series. And I'm not saying that they're all horrible interviews and that they're all horrible people. There are some drivers in the Cup Series that are much better than others, but for the most part, they're honestly just counting down the minutes until they get to go home because they're not really having fun. Chase Elliott. And honestly, it's infuriating because I've seen these drivers' personalities. Honestly, it's almost WWE type status personality that these drivers have, but they simply will not show those colors and those sides of themselves to others. Why? I think it's because they're afraid that they're going to lose sponsors, and with a business model in NASCAR that is so heavily sponsor driven, I get it. I really do. These drivers are trying to play safe. They don't want to say something that's going to piss somebody off. I get it. But at the same time, we can't all be Hendrick Motorsports. We need to be the AJ Allmendingers who get out, show emotion, show the humanity of it. AJ Allmendinger's win at the Roval over the weekend is going to go down as one of the most popular victories in NASCAR Cup Series history. Mark my words, because you saw how much that meant to him. And yes, there are reports that he's going down to Xfinity and that he, frankly, is done in the Cup Series, so there's a lot of hidden meaning behind why he was so emotional over the weekend. But you set that aside, it was still so cool to see how emotional and happy he was and how much it meant to him. That we need to see more of. Not these corporate boneheads who get out of the car and just spout out sponsors and, "Yeah, it was a really good car today. I'd like to thank my sponsors. I want to thank NASCAR, and just everybody did a really good job. I can't wait to go to insert racetrack next week here. Yay. Thank you." That is boring. That is killing ratings. And the fact that NASCAR's most popular driver is being coddled by an organization that is okay with him not doing press and him not showing his personality and him not having a soul is really bad. Yeah, I said it, Chase Elliott fans. No hate, no disrespect. I'd just like to see more than the vanilla comments and personality that we've seen out of him. Humongous wasted opportunity. But I want to hear from you. Which side of the spectrum do you stand on this one? Do you agree with Jeff Gordon's comments that NASCAR drivers need to be more vanilla and just let the sponsors go ahead and continue to do what they're not doing? Or do you agree with Denny Hamlin and think that the drivers need to put themselves out there a little bit more, do more media, be a little bit more controversial and opinionated, let me know down in the comments below. And while you're there, make sure that you mash that subscribe button so that you do not miss a video, and you can log on to AmericanRacingNetwork.com for the latest motorsports news. ARN, the Motorsports Authority. I want to thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you give me a follow on my social media accounts at HeyAlanBailey. I will be in Las Vegas for the Cup race this weekend. I'm driving out there Sunday morning. I'm driving back Sunday night from the Los Angeles area. What could go wrong with that one? And we might be doing a meetup. Make sure that you check my social medias, and mark my word, whichever playoff driver wins Vegas this weekend will win the 2023 NASCAR Championship. Mark my words, it's happening. They're going to pull a Joey Logano, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be that 12 car in Blaney. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. For Shifting Gears, I'm Alan Bailey. We'll see you at the track.